All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist. That's comedian / meteorologist, Cloud Hudson, and I'll be bringing you tonight's top vibe stories. Today in vibe stories, Mount Ebu, as the eruption we discussed yesterday, has continued to unfortunately evacuate people. It's up to 180 people that have 180, 1,800, 1,800 people have been evacuated from the exclusion zone of Mount Ebu right now. Hold on. There we go. Let me go ahead and get the I just had the tab up that had the site for that. Here we go. So we are getting sometimes my stream doesn't like me very much and it doesn't want to show all my stuff. There we go. Let's switch. There we go. Okay. So look at Tuesday, May 28th. We've got Stromboli, as we talked about yesterday, had a new spattering of lava flow from the North Crater area. Increased volcanic activity in the area the past few days. There are hot juvenile flows. That is a series of words that you usually should not say on the internet. Hot juvenile and molten lava clots. Clots, that's a bad word too. That's clots. It sounds like blood clots. Are being ejected to several dozens of meters above the Hornito, that in turn piling up several meters high deposits. Furthermore, remaining hot fluid blebs. Hot fluid blebs. What other scientific discipline can you describe things as blebs in? Remaining hot fluid blebs fall to the upper Schiera del Fuoco, coalescing, thereby forming the short lava flow descending hundreds of meters over the flank. Lewitobi continues volcanic ash emissions, as does Semeru continues a state of eruption down in East Java, Indonesia. Dukono has volcanic ash emissions to flight level 100. That's 1,000 feet above the air. And Kerinci in Sumatra has volcanic explosive activity up to flight level 190. Popo continuous volcanic ash emissions up to flight level 190. Fuego, frequent volcanic ash emissions up to flight level 150. Songhai, contiguous occasional volcanic ash emissions up to flight level 200. Sabancaya has intermittent volcanic ash emissions up to flight level 200. Then as we go to May 29th, as at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we switch over to 0 UTC for the world's time. So much of the Ring of Fire is in a day ahead. Lewitobi, Semeru, and Dukono continue to emit the way that we were talking about. They didn't mention Mount Ebu, but today is when I've seen Mount Ebu actually in the headlines. Maybe Volcano Discovery is just a little bit ahead of everybody else in showing that. Ooh, hello, Cushy Kale. I wonder why Dutch hasn't spoken in like 2 dang days. They're getting sloppy, LMAO. Yeah, not that Dutch is getting sloppy. It's just that they're getting sloppy. You know? There was also a lot of if I'm not mistaken, Dutch lives near the New Madrid seismic zone in Missouri, and there was a lot of both earthquake activity and tornadic activity in the area, so he might be taking care of his family. I don't know that they're in danger. This is all conjecture based on the fact that on stream he has said he lives in that area of Missouri, so I'm assuming maybe he's like dealing with their shit. Oh, the blebs are getting sloppy. Oh yeah. They're getting sloppy with the description of things being blebs. Fucking love. I love science shows itself to be the messy, chaotic unfolding of human dialogues of knowledge that it truly is. And sometimes the extent of human knowledge is, yeah, that that lava looks like a bleb. That's all we know about it. It's a bleb. Um, Also, maybe this is what we get when millennials start being the main demographic at work at 9 to 5 science jobs. You get millennials who grew up on memes describing things as blebs. Okay, so we just breezed right through our bleb. Well, oh yeah, Dutch is scared of the threats, and that is I don't want to dwell on that because I don't like to dwell on the negative energy. But like Dutch, I totally understand why he would be afraid of the threats. In a time of great awakening, people who speak the truth are often found under fire, and it is really with great reverence and um, impact and import and like really I truly understand why he would be quiet for days or weeks at a time because it's a dangerous world. That's all I can say. um don't Oh, I won't comply. I never do. I love you very much. I've never met you before, KL, but I hope you come back to the stream because we have some really awesome people in this community. It's very small. I never go over 10 viewers, so I always reply to every comment. But like, yeah, there are a lot of people that I learn a whole lot from in this community. So come back. I'm here every night. Um, Oh, thank you so much, Raheem. I've been saying it Rohim in my head. If it's Rojeme or something else, please correct me. But thanks. I don't need mods yet, but if I could have some mods IRL, that'd be awesome. Apparently I've had people Roger showing up places that I actually work anymore. As I say, I'm kind of the y'all just clean each other out. Ooh, yummy. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little too gay. I don't know if y'all are on the gay side of YouTube or not. Inserting jokes here. But no, I don't need anyone cleaning out my chat. In and used to work at. People have been showing up there looking for me, and I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. um, I have a ton of bots lurking. How do you know I have bots lurking? I'm only showing that there are 2 people watching my stream. Um, I'd be really interested to know how you know that. Because, like I said, I am certain that there are IRL bots. Hey, let's not, I will say, let's never, not never, but let's just call people a Mulder or Scully. I don't like using the FED word because I think that it might flag my stream as something the FEDs should look at if we type that too much. So I think we should call them like Mulders and Scullys on this one. Yeah, yeah. But so what I do here on this channel is I recap all weather. And to me, weather is defined as all spheres of vibrational movement from the molten core of the earth, not even claiming what shape the earth is. Not saying that I claim either party in that debate. Just saying from the molten sphere of the earth to the more crustal solid sphere of Earth. So I do volcanoes and earthquakes. Then I move up in the air to the classically named weather, terrestrial atmospheric weather. Then I move up to the Schumann resonances, then the solar weather. Then I move up to planetary weather, and then I move up to cosmic weather. So I know that a lot of science bros do not appreciate my definition of weather because it does include the gravitational pull of the planetary bodies on our star, the sun. My personal theory is that the orbit of the heavenly bodies has an effect on the sun's weather patterns, solar weather, and that is actually the mechanistic connection between so-called astrology and what we know as geosciences now. So I know that is a little bit far-fetched for some people. I know that most weather nerds will tune out as soon as I talk about the planets. I know even Dutch would probably roll. We call it could be connected, but that is something that I incorporate in my broadcast. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm saying for me, I find it important to observe all of these spheres of influence together. Oh yeah, and please drop your drop your pronouns in the comments. I personally, I love Stefan. I love Stefan Burns. Amazing, great guy. Well, I think I've never met him, but like everything he says resonates with me. Yeah, I know Stefan stopped going live too, and that's why. So I started this stream at the beginning of the year on January 1st this year because I was just like, fuck it, I'm tired of keeping this shit to myself. And then I found that like the people who inspired me, like Stefan and Dutch and even Tamitha Scove, for how mainstream science she is. She has actively credited, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but Dr. Tamitha Scove, the space weather woman, she has credited both Stefan Burns and Dutch Sense on her streams as fringe scientists that she does not discredit. She says that there is a very important part of the scientific process that people like Stefan and Dutch fill. So those are my three big inspirations on YouTube and live streaming. And all three of them have stopped going live as often recently. I think after some of the bigger solar storms this year, there has been an influx of people waking up, but that also means people waking up on a lower level of awareness and having too basic of questions and some assumptions to go live right now because they have such a large range, such a large reach and audience. It's probably very hard for those larger channels to go live right now. So, yeah, I think it's important for little guys like me, and not just me. I'm not like trying to be one of the big guys. I'm trying to do like my I never watched Star Trek, but I know Captain Kirk has his captain's log. I see this podcast as a captain's log of the weather. This is the weather that I saw today. I think that's an important uh, type of data source for future historians. I think everyone in this chat is contributing to that scientific dialogue as well. All right, speaking of scientific dialogue, let's look at Earthquake 3D. So we're looking at, I have the Canadian feed turned on. And again, this is just in the past 24 hours. If I go back, further, it should show different color rings. I have blue as oldest rings, or blue rings and shells as oldest quakes, and red as my newest quakes on my color coding. So it's weird that these Canadian ones aren't showing up as different time scales, because it looks like these have been reported for days and they're old. So maybe it's the yeah, I think it might be the long time scale of the Canadian feed kind of fucking with the time slider on this. But as you can see, there was some disturbance up in Canada. As we move into the so-called United States, I'll take the shell sizes down so we can look at our NL. 2.7 yesterday in Kansas, 1.4 in Oklahoma, 1.7 and 1.3 is around there. And then our regular West Texas stack of quakes has also led to kind of a diagonal line of quakes pointed towards that area of Oklahoma. Very interesting. We're seeing continued quakes here in Okay. Okay. So I took my radar off of the live. I took radar off of my OBS broadcast, and I think that restored my signal strength. Okay. I think perhaps I'm not on a wired Ethernet connection. I just have like a Wi-Fi dongle in my homebrew PC. So I think once I figure out how to get a LAN connection to the room I'm in, I won't deal with these issues. Oh, allegedly. But I took my radar in the corner off for now, and I think that has helped the connection speed. Thanks for staying here, Regime and Kale. I love you guys. I can't wait until my regular viewers get here. Let me post on YouTube real quick because there's some really brilliant people on my YouTube comment section. Y'all are in my Twitch comment section, but my YouTube comment section, I get some awesome people, and I'm usually able to share the comments on stream so that y'all can see each other. So I want to make sure that they've been saying that they have all notifications turned on for me, and they haven't been getting the push notifications. So I'm going to go comment on my last video because they comment on every video and be like, hey, I'm live right now, because they're really, really smart people. I don't know that much about social science. I personally was I was victimized. I hate the victim narrative. But I personally was hey, Casey Face, I was just talking about my beautiful YouTube viewers. Here you are. Okay. I commented on Anna's comment from yesterday that I'm back. I'm great, beautiful. How are you? I am double streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now. So if I'm replying to comments you don't see, it's from Twitch, and Twitch people vice versa on the YouTube. Yeah, I have really smart people who come to the comment section here and share their beautiful perspective and very scientific knowledge of life, and they're psychologists and social scientists who know a lot more about that realm of the world than I do. I study physical stuff for the most part. Not that psychology isn't physical. That was an argument I got into with my ex all the time. But anyway, let's continue talking about these earthquakes. 4.2 over in Vancouver, normal stack of quakes over in Alaska. Got some 4s rippling down. I'd say out of our wave-shaped plate boundary. For those of you who are new to my earthquake section of the podcast, I do talk about, I hope you can see my cursor on the screen, but this shape in the Indo-Australian plate that goes from Antarctica through New Zealand, New Caledonia, allegedly, Tonga, Fiji, and the Vanuatu Islands region. I call this the wave-shaped plate boundary because if you look at the plate boundary outlined in red here, you see it's doing the shape of a crashing wave. That's because all things are waves, and the tectonic plates move in liquid wave forms, and I'm shape of that tectonic plate. So at the peak of the crashing wave, where this 4.7 is, that's where if you were a surfer, you would be riding the wave. This would be the tall top of the ocean crest of the wave, this being the backside of the wave. Anyway, anywhere you see that pattern forming, you can expect angular momentum to pop out, just like the right hand rule, where you curl your fingers in the direction of the XY momentum. Z plane pops out with angular momentum. Same thing with earthquakes. Deep quakes pop out here because we're in the southern hemisphere. So instead of the right hand rule, we're doing the left hand rule, I guess. And so since we're curving this way, we're digging deep and getting deep quakes out from the center of the earth. And as you can see, that is tracking here. We did have a 7.1 and two 6.6s here the other day. 7.1 was extremely deep and the 6.6s were shallow. We got a 5.2 shallow, 4.5 at 78, 4.6 at medium or pretty deep, 304 kilometers depth, 4.5 at 261 depth. Then as we move through the rest of the Western Pacific, I'll check chat in a moment. I had a psychic feeling that we just chatted something important, but I'll check it in just a second. I do want to note that we have seen continuous quakes in the mainland of Australia, which is right in the middle of the plate, which is not where you usually expect to look for a quake. 5.0 at 0 kilometers depth right here in the middle of the Banda Sea. Then as we move up, I feel like near Taiwan is going to be heating up. We got that deep 7 the other day. I think that Taiwan is kind of a hinge point in transferring momentum either up to Russia and Alaska or over to the mainland of Asia. And as you see, we have seen equal magnitude quakes go in both ways recently. This 5.0 and 4.8 were from yesterday. If you're new to this stream, red means new quakes, blue means yesterday's quakes. 4.1 here, right in the middle of Western China. And there was that 4.4 out in the middle of the Indian Ocean yesterday. We had the 3.5 at very southern Russia near the border of Turkey and Iran. And as always, I got to take the quake ring sizes down to take a look at Greece because it is just littered in quakes, spanning all the way from 3.8 to 0.8 in size. But that is also a heavily fractured zone. So all of that energy probably would have added up to a 4 if it was concentrated in one area. And then to wrap it all up for our quakes, I did want to mention that we saw a 4.1 and a 4.2 down here just on the Chile and Argentina sides of the border respectively, but practically right on top of each other vertically, because we all know borders are fake, made up by people and not observed by the earth. Also, of course, as always, Puerto Rico going off, as is the Guerrero coast of Mexico. So let me switch over to atmosphere and then I'll check my chat again. Casey said, right on. Hello, Twitch people. I'm a psychology major. And there is a physical element. However, it's a lot of intangible data in my specific field of study. Yeah, Casey is a neuroscientist studying the connection between neuropsychology, if I'm not mistaken. So as is my soon-to-be sister-in-law. So y'all would have a lot to talk about. Yeah, invisible lines. We all deal with the invisible lines in the field of studying weather, honestly. That's all it is a bunch of invisible real quick. Sorry, I just like weirdly felt a lot of hater energy directed towards me for a second, and I had to clear that out. Yeah, I remembered. I actually cared. Yeah, I don't have that many viewers. And I'm not really like trying for a lot of viewers. I'm trying for quality relationships between people. I'm just trying to find the type of nerd who wants to talk to me more efficiently via the internet. Okay, so we are currently looking at the local radar out of San Angelo, Texas. I think one of my viewers was in Kentucky last night, and one of my viewers was in this South Texas area. I forget who was who, but it looks like there is both a big onshore flow at low levels and a big off the off the Monterey Mountains flow aloft, up high. So when we get two streams going like this, they do this at the mid levels. What's the middle ground between two opposite directions is slowly veering towards each other. What's the middle ground between positive and negative? 0. There's a 0 point in between the eastern flow and western flow in the middle of the atmosphere, and that creates a little breaking wave in the plane horizontal or parallel to the ground. So that's why we see this little outflow boundary looking thing sweeping westward, weirdly, as we get convection aloft sweeping eastward. Very weird, seeing lots of radar anomalies and little radar holes coming out of this particular station. Let's take a look at the entire scale. Looks like we got a mesoscale discussion for flash flooding around Abilene, Texas, and that's probably for this storm that just moved out of there into Weatherford and Stephenville, Texas. Also got a little isolated supercell up here near Clovis and Plainview in the Panhandle. Is that the Panhandle or is that the Panhandle? I thought the Panhandle was sideways, but then I think they call this West Texas and that the Panhandle. I don't know. Neuropsychologist, the emphasis in TBI and its effects on violence and sociopathy. That is so important. And oh man, I just know of that one anecdote of the psychologist who was trying to study sociopaths, and he mixed his own brain scan into the stack, and then that's how he figured out that he was a sociopath. Do you know who I'm talking about? That one sociopathy researcher? I'm certain you know who I'm talking about. I don't remember his name, but I don't think you're a sociopath. I think that lack of gray matter probably contributes to a lack of empathy. Don't look up how much gray matter women and men have compared to each other. Being a sociopath, male behavior. Okay. Whatever, my unfounded theories. Looks like we got a decent circulation up here near Chicago, actually closer to South Bend now. Makes me want to check out our weather reports for today. We are still dealing with some power outages through the Missouri and Arkansas region into Kentucky and West Virginia. So those are the areas that have been dealing with a lot of terrible weather locally. And Nuevo Laredo, the place that I was talking about last night, also has a mesoscale discussion, a severe thunderstorm watch. Looking at a weak shortwave trough is progressing across the southern high plains, and this feature is now turning southeast within broader northwesterly flow. So what I was describing about the 0 point, the wave cresting and turning, strong surface heating and orographic influences allowed what I described, allow multiple thunderstorm clusters to evolve across southwest Texas, northeast Mexico late this afternoon, early this evening. This is grown upscale and is now a mature mesoscale convective system that is propagating toward deep South Texas. Leading edge of this activity is surging through Webb, Zapata counties along the instability axis characterized by mixed layer CAPE around 4,000 joules per kilogram. While zero-Z soundings from CRPBRO, the local radars, were both capped this evening, it appears adequate northwesterly mid-level flow exists at this latitude for this complex to advance considerable more distance before weakening, damaging with. So this is and Gulf of Mexico, whereas last night's storm kind of fizzled out once we got to the coast. This has had kind of the entrainment from 2 days in a row of that happening. Also, let's not forget, up here we have a severe thunderstorm warning with warned for considerable damage threat, winds up to 70 miles per hour and 1.5-inch ping pong ball sized hail. Now imagine a ping pong ball made of solid ice coming at you 70 miles per hour. That is basically a bazooka. And you can see that we're getting reflectivity signatures up into the 80 dBz range. So that is really high. That is a nasty, nasty thunderstorm forming up northwest of Lubbock and headed southeast. So maybe towards Lubbock. Then as we're looking at our west coast, we've got a lot of different areas that new circulation systems could be born off of. Look for probably this weekend a lot more severe weather, unfortunately. The margins are nowhere near even between men and women. Yeah, look up how much gray matter women have compared to women, or women have compared to men, and the effects of hormone replacement therapy on said gray matter. Contrary to scientific belief, being trans is real, and it actually can affect your brain chemistry and composition. Not much good research there, though, because the NAZIs got rid of a lot of great transgender research back in that day. We would have noticed it a lot sooner, though. Although men show more violent behavior than women, women are alleged to have way higher numbers of sociopathic behaviors than recorded because they present with much more emotional manipulation. That is a good observation. Definitely, I think, a type of weaponized helplessness that women tend to use, but that is sometimes all that is allowed societally. So it's really a factor of the material conditions that we're operating under, what type of violence we are allowed to express and still remain alive under. I think that's a really interesting distinction, is who's allowed to survive while demonstrating different types of violent behavior. Some people have to go to much more covert types of violent behavior because their overt violent behavior will be reprimanded more readily. Whereas if you are seen as the norm, if you're a man, because men are seen as the normal type of human, it is a lot easier to get away with overt violence for longer and in a more obvious way before you are reprimanded. More research is being conducted as we speak. Trans science is a real science and a real factor in mental health and well-being. 100%. I am conducting my own trans research science in my own body. By that, I mean, I went on woman birth control when I was young, and I'm still trying to undo the terrible effects it had on my body by doing a little testosterone to even it out. I don't even claim an identity in either direction. I'm just saying I'm figuring out what my body is happiest under. My body is happiest under a little bit of testosterone. Not a lot, just a little bit more testosterone. Okay, so speaking of what my body is happiest under, let's go back to what my brain is happiest under, which is talking about weather. And oh my God, look at those Schumann resonances. Looks like after yesterday's relative break, we have taken a big dive back into these whiteout conditions in the Schumann resonances. The extreme weather may not be happening in the United States, but oh, I've let's look at crazy right now. Oh, and connection lost again. I'm a damn fine scientist. Thank you, Casey. Everyone should do their own research. And by do their own research, I mean experiment on your own body. Okay. Train's agenda coming to get you. Sorry. Okay. So our power burst came in, at a whopping 82. 57 for mode 2, 41 for mode 3, and 30 for mode 4. These are large numbers for just a regular daily power spike. You see that mode 1 spiked just above 30 by itself. Mode 4 is spiking to 30 now with today's downloads. This is a lot of information, kind of well balanced for the wavelengths that are carrying the power, as in it should be in the order of the lowest frequency carries the most power, but all of them are really elevated today. I can tell you the people I came across at work today were all very sleepy and looked like sluggish. I think that that is a normal response to getting a lot of information and power downloads from the ionosphere to the ground layer. What was I going to talk about was global weather, though. That was the Schumann resonance. I forgot to mention global weather. As we can see, this is where we had our typhoons coming in yesterday. Let's take a look at our 3-hour precipitation accumulation. Looks like the cyclone that made landfall near Bangladesh has kind of tapered out into the highlands, but the typhoon that started off the coast of the Philippines is barreling towards the coast of Japan. But with these strong offshore winds and this relative high that's happening between Korea and Japan, looks like that is going to probably keep this typhoon at bay until it swirls up into the Kamchatka Peninsula, probably going to make its way across the Aleutian Islands and into the Aleutian Low, which is the armpit of Alaska that hangs out with a lot of low pressure systems there. Let's see. Anything else noteworthy? Rain in the Baltic regions and the Black Sea. Seeing rain in Texas, of course, and in northern South America. Always around the equator, pretty rainy. Unfortunately, rainy in Papua New Guinea, which is not great because of their recent landslides and stuff. Listen, as a former drug addict with 10 years sober, having been raised in a religious cult, I've definitely... So true. I love how you fiction have such, I believe, such a strong correlation in brain activity. It definitely, before I knew what drugs were, God was my drug. And having done drugs since then, not like ever since then, but like I tried them since I was a kid. In my lifetime, I have tried them. Yeah, that pure, unadulterated God cult energy that you get, that spirit energy, is like, I think what a lot of people who use drugs get out of drugs is that divinity, that cult, that race, that high, that kind of alignment. It's a really clear alignment with one thought that is really hard to come by in today's world. Okay. Speaking of clarity of thought, let's keep this show on track. Let's move now from Schumann resonances and global weather to look at our solar weather. Last night, I don't think I saw any of you on stream last night, but I will say we did have a type 4 potential complete halo coronal mass ejection coming from the sun. And that is probably coming out of the same area that used to be sunspot region 3664. That is blowing up right now, and maybe it'll be named by today. Let's check that out. And today we had a type 2 potential full halo. Ooh, this time from the other corner of the sun, meaning it's from one of our departing sun, though. Let's take a look at our solar flares before. Yesterday, I could have, right after the broadcast yesterday, like, no. 2 days ago, right after the broadcast, we had an X 2.9. Yesterday, we didn't have any major flares, and today it looks like we just had the M class flare like 4-ish hours ago. We had an M, let's see, M 1.3. So, but it looks like our baseline noise floor for X-ray radiation is creeping back up to near the M class territory. So I think that means good things for our solar weather enthusiasts. Let's take a look at our sunspot regions. And yes, it has been named 3697, officially typed as a beta gamma type sunspot group. We are looking at 3697, which is the remnants of 3664, which is the one that created all the coronal mass ejections and X flares that fueled our 2 weeks ago giant solar storm, the one that was the biggest since we've seen since Halloween 2003. 2003. 3691, however, is currently our most complex sunspot region with a beta gamma delta classification, a EKC class sunspot, looking pretty complex there, with 80% chance of C flares, 35% chance of M flares, and 10% chance of X flares. Then, as we look at the region formerly known as 3664, we are looking at a whopper. The whole sunspot region hasn't even rotated onto the Earth-facing disk yet. We're still looking at the limb, so maybe some parallax vision going on, but a beautiful, crazy-looking sunspot. You know a sunspot is good looking if it looks like a very concerning infection. Like if it looks like a scab that you would go to the doctor over, that's what a nasty sunspot group is going to look like. And look at it, already at 20% chance of M class flares, already had an M 1.2 flare. I'm hoping for great things out of this sunspot region. Let's take a look now at our solar imagery. I'm going to look at 193 angstroms. Oh, and there goes my connection again. Make sure my stream is still up. Yes, stream is still up. Okay. Sometimes this website takes a while to... Okay, there we go. We see all kinds of cardioid curves all over the place. There's that X flare, and you see it ripple back up the after that X flare. And a dimming region, a nice strong filament is forming right next to it. You see this right here, this big ropey boy? Looks like, yeah, looks like we're going to have some really take a look at the planetary weather from now. Oh, and there's my refresh going away. Okay. Love that descriptor. I'm glad you appreciate my very weird mixed metaphors, Casey. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so planetary weather. As I've explained before, I believe planetary weather, that the sun is a magnetic dynamo that is the sum and negation and working out of the equations of the 9-body problem that is our atmosphere, our solar system. I think that researchers are looking inside the sun for a source of the energy when they need to look outside of the sun and see that this is the nexus point. This is the node between all orbits, and realize that the orbits, it's just not conventional by scientists right now. So I always keep a close eye on our planetary weather. We've got, and I believe that the social historical traditions that have observed the movement of the planets have a great insight into the qualitative values that different types of sunstorms based on different types of planetary configurations hold for the Earth. So that being said, that's why I think astrology is valid in my science podcast. We've got the moon at 18 degrees of Aquarius, making a sextile to the Mars conjunction with Chiron at 21 degrees of Aries, or 22 degrees, I guess, is where the official conjunction is happening. We've also got that moon square to Mercury in Taurus, but not making any other aspects. So moon, emotions, physical body might get in strong conflict with what you're trying to communicate and how you're trying to communicate right now. But what you're trying to communicate takes a lot of effort, time, and diligence in order to communicate. So think of singing an entire opera as opposed to humming one line from a song. Humming one line from a song is Mercury and Aries. Singing the entire opera is Mercury and Taurus. Like, it's long because there's a lot to say. We're long-winded for a reason. We're not just like Gemini, long-winded for maybe we're creating a whole tarot deck out of the words I'm saying in one sentence. kind of thing. But with that energy, which is the energy of Gemini, we have Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun all in a rough conjunction, all within 10 degrees of each other, all in the first decan of Gemini. I'd say that Venus and the Sun are more in the conjunction aspect than Jupiter is. And Jupiter is really just making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius right now. So all the Venus Cazimi feelings that we're feeling from Gemini are getting charged up by a Jupiter trine Pluto in the first degree of an air sign type of quality lately. All of that with moon sextiling and unleashing the energy of a very happy Mars in Aries. I think there is a lot of potential for energy, ignition, communication between different groups of people, making first contact. First contact is the kind of energy I'm getting from this tonight. You're a Virgo and ruled by Mercury, and yes, we are giving every detail because context matters. Yeah, Virgo is giving every detail because context matters. Gemini is giving every detail because maybe that'll help my stream. It helps my connection. Yeah. So in the very Virgo and Mercurial sense of things, I'm going to try to do a little cosmic weather reading for y'all. Just had to aurally cleanse my space there because I was freezing for a second. Felt like maybe the bad vibes were getting in. So let's build that shell up around again. Maybe I need to hold on to a piece of... Yeah, I might need to hold on to a piece of black tourmaline. Hold on. Okay. Thank you for your Virgo energy. I'm trying to protect my space. There's a lot of people trying to get in tonight. Many people trying to get into... This black tourmaline has never done me wrong, though. Feel a lot better now. Hold that rose with me. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at... I'm not going to get into the tarot. It might need more protection than what is available tonight. I'm going to get into the liminal space deck. So, actually, I'm going to use my alternate tarot. I usually use one type of tarot deck on here, but I'm feeling that there are entities watching this stream tonight that don't need access to my personal tarot deck. So I'm going to use one that's a little bit less aligned with my soul Not that it's disaligned, but like it's not quite as entangled with me emotionally, so that people can't get their claws into me right now. The liminal space deck is charged with the very Jupiter energy looking stone of this ocean jasper. Thank you so much, Casey. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate that you are my energetic mod. You're not the mod in the stream, but you're the mod energetically. I don't know if you can message me on YouTube, but try to send me a message on YouTube, or I will try to. I know you've commented on my videos before, so I will try to reach out if there's a DM feature on YouTube to give you my email, because especially right now I don't want to put it on the stream. Okay, but more positively, back to our ocean jasper energy. We've got liminal space. No one can hold you accountable for what happens in the liminal space. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, cosmic energy that's coming in from way beyond this realm, way higher this, way beyond. What is the energy that's coming in? Got two. Ooh, these two are ones that come up for me a lot, which tells you a lot about me. This one, the dream always comes disguised as the nightmare. And conversely, the nightmare always comes disguised as the dream. One does not exist without the other, and they are generally proportional. In this instance, resist the urge to impose your expectations upon this reality, because it is all unfolding right now. This one, having the home and family on there, means a lot more to me as a Saturn in the fourth house person. Saturn and Moon and Black Moon Lilith in the fourth house. That's my chart. This means a lot to me. The dream always comes disguised as a nightmare, and the nightmare always comes disguised as the dream. And interdependence is the next one, with the birds picking the parasites out of the crocodile's mouth. Interdependence. It says, While convoluted human notions of love have cast transactional relationships as taboo while lauding balanced exchanges as healthy, nature simplifies this for us. Not only are symbiotic relationships fundamental to any functioning ecosystem, they are effortless. All life is wired to perceive threats and gravitate to what will support it. Not everything is for you. What is yours will not miss you. These two together are really bringing out my connection to the dominant paradigm of partnership and relationship to security. What can you do for others and what can others do for you? And how does that all go together? Ooh, I'm going to put this on stream because I feel like it's for everyone. I feel like I'm supposed to tell you that, yes, it will unfold, but you get to choose how it unfolds and unfolds because it's your reality. There's a lot of power there, and there's a lot of resonance with the next deck that I'm going to pull from. My law of attraction deck, my positivity deck, my woo-woo hippie feel-good shit deck. This deck was given to me by a Pisces. I'm all about the reciprocity and claiming your spot and your power. Thanks for reminding me that's possible. I don't want to get lost in the tumult. Okay, what goes with these two cards? Interdependence and the dream always comes disguised as the nightmare. Again, physical well-being is only one good thought away. You could have every disease known to man within you today, and if you chose different feeling thoughts tomorrow, they would all leave your body. The key is to not give any unwanted thing too much attention. When it doesn't feel good, turn your attention someplace else. It's so simple, and yet this card is so hard for me to grasp, mostly because of the mainstream victim narratives that get blasted in your face all over the place. Trying to really reclaim my power without feeling like I'm repeating the cycles of violence that people in positions of power over me have done to me. It's very hard to, but you got to look for examples of power used in a beneficial way. Never lost. It's just a necessary part of the duality. Yeah. Like learning what it is. When you catch and release, you really define the object. That's good. I want to... okay, I am going to bust out... I'm going to close this with a little music. But I said I was going to bust out this Wild Unknown Tarot, and I am going to do that right now. Give us one little tarot card that goes with these. Ooh. please. And thank you. Show us the tarot that corresponds to the cosmic weather coming in. Goes with interdependence, dream always comes disguised as a nightmare, and physical well-being is only one good thought away. Let's see what the connection is. Casey, you are just spitting truth tonight. It is definitely the purpose of why we're here, to live in the physical reality and understand how hard it is to do the things that we like theoretically and spiritually grasp in the physical world. This is our practice area. This is our school of life of how. Oh, speaking of school of life, got the 8 of Swords reversed. All right. Oh, man. Okay. And this one has an interpretation book, so I'm going to... Oh! 8 of Swords reversed. Okay, so 8 of Swords upright, it has trapped, powerless. Surrounded by obstacles and threats, you find yourself the victim. But 8 of Swords reversed means the opposite or the inward side of it, meaning you've put yourself in your victim position, and that means you can just as easily get yourself out. This looks to me, with the chrysalis right here, like a hanged man reversed. Of the hanged man put himself there. I'm getting minor arcana parallels to the major arcana. 8 of Swords reversed, and we're sitting here talking about how we can will ourselves to be out of victim mindset if we only take back our power. That is just so beautiful. Mwah. Thank you so much, Wild Unknown. Sometimes, see, and I wouldn't have gotten that interpretation if I used the other tarot deck right now, because this particular deck does talk to me in a little bit more sassy of a way. It's a little bit more in your face with the metaphors. So it doesn't read reversals, but I read reversals as either the opposite or the inward mode of what the upright is. And so the upright interpretation in this book says, surrounded by obstacles and threats on all sides, you find yourself the victim. You see no way out, no available choices. Your perception keeps you from taking flight. The 8 of Swords reversed implies that of the chrysalis to a butterfly, where the butterfly's wings are all here and fully made. You can't just fly off right away. You have to practice just sitting there in the frozen state that you've been in chrysalis mode for a while. You have to practice doing that, but with your wings open. In order for the wings to dry out, in order for the protective fluid that kept you in the chrysalis to dry off. Much like in an awakening process, we need to try flexing our wings out as if we were going to fly. Don't try to go all the way for flight yet. You might fall if you're still bogged down in the things that did keep you safe in the chrysalis. This is the time that we are fully formed enough to flex our new muscles, but also still encased in enough goo of protection that we need to dry out just a little. We need to go from this big, deep, feminine goo state for a while. That was very necessary. Kept you protected, completely transformed you from a little caterpillar to a butterfly, but also the change stage is done now. We just need to get rid of the remnants of the change stage. The goo is the remnants of the change stage. You've made your transformation. We just need to, don't hit the ground running with these brand new wings yet. You might actually fall if you don't get rid of all the changey goo. that helped you through the change stage. So figure out what is your wings and what is the goo that needs to evaporate, and then you'll be ready to fly. Oh, that is so beautiful. Felt very empowered by that deck right now with that message. It's really pause and listen to the still small voice. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we had to my computer restarted. Here we go. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. And everybody's gone. All right. Well, that is it for today's weather tonight. I guess I'm being hacked or something. Okay. That's great. Oh, there's my 3 viewers. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, very, very weird that my computer just randomly pooped out and restarted right there. But use your discernment, figure out what's the goo and what's your wings, and you'll be ready to fly. Casey, I'm gonna find a way to talk to you on email because we gotta figure out what this weird energy tonight is. Maybe it's just because it's a Tuesday. It's a Mars day. Let's see. What's the planetary hour and stuff? I didn't do that part in my update. It was a Mars day and a Venus hour when I started broadcasting, and now we're in a Mercury day and a Mercury hour. So, if that tells us anything. Weird. It's all go. It's all good. I know what it is. At least I'm pretty sure I know. Okay, cool, good. Because I have vague feelings about what it is, but I have no certainty of knowing what's going on. So I would love to talk to you about it. So yeah, I'm going to end it there. Thank you all very much for tuning in to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow. Well, Mercury is pretty fucking wild, yeah. All right. I love you all very much. Have a great night. Bye.